Okay, it is now November 1st, 2018. We are in the heart and start of the NBA season, and as you noticed, Derrick Rose dropped fucking 50 in Halloween night. So, big clap up to him. Big clap. Curry dropped 37. Like, you don't even have to try. Like, you don't need Cousins. You don't have to try anymore if you're the Warriors. If you're a Warriors fan, you don't have to watch any NBA game. Just wait until the finals so you can get lit up on the celebratory parade and shit. Now, I'm recording this because obviously I'm lazy. Don't want to do any retarded streams. See how it's working out. Still want to be thankful about all the people that came up, even though the majority of people that came up to the stream was pretty much the entire attendance of the NASA Coliseum fucking NASA Coliseum arena for the Evolution event. So obviously you'd rather see me than watching the actual pay-per-view. Anyway, I'm here right now to talk about the Houston Rockets. That's been quite disappointing lately. They've been 1-5. They have only faced one team in their division and lost. They faced off against the Portland Trail Blazers that are on a good tear, even with the only best signings coming out of Steph Curry and Nick Stauskas. They're eligible to still be one of the better offensive teams in the Western Conference. It's still 1-5. There's over 70 games remaining in the NBA season. So obviously the Houston Rockets have a bunch of time to actually cause some damage in the NBA season. But I'm not seeing that. And if you've seen their games against if you've seen their game against Portland, their opening night game against the Pelicans, they've been more sluggish. Team is a lack of depth, and they have a poor defensive unit. They had Gerald Green, they had Trevor Ariza, Nene, Capella. They actually had some good players. They actually had some reliable players that won't get injured. Even Luke Manute, blah, 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 blah. His name is difficult to pronounce. I'm sorry, folks. I know who he is, but I'm not pronouncing that shit. I don't want to stutter. Man, it's just a lot of stuff that just makes the Rockets a poor team than it was last year. You had the league MVP. You had top defense in the nation and in the league. You had Aaron Gordon, he's still on the team. He's still doing his thing. One of the better outside shooters, backup guards in the NBA. There's nothing wrong. I don't want to discredit any other part of the Houston Rockets, but man, you're 1-5. It's not the best way to start. You guys have Brooklyn. I know you're going to beat them with Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert. My God, the rookie ain't that bad. They actually got Joe Harris. Their team isn't that bad to look at. There's nothing wrong with the Houston Rockets. I mean, there's everything wrong with the Houston Rockets. The roster's a mess. It doesn't feel like they know what to do on defense. Thanks, you have Carmelo Anthony that slugs off and let anybody pushes their way into the paint. It's really depressing coming in to see this team play. You don't see it off their defense. Their defense can't show up. James Ennis, Michael Carter-Williams can't defend a soul. Carmelo's too old to push up, cause a foul. Played against rough teams. When I mean rough teams, they're not that good. If they lose to Houston, freaking Brooklyn, that looks like it's possible to even have a better record than them. It's gonna be rough to see their team. It's gonna be rough to see their team play. Where the hell have the Rockets been? James Harden been inconsistent. You've barely seen anything coming out of this unit. And I'm not trying to discredit anything going on, but your team has freaking goddamn Michael Carter Williams, James Ennis, Gary Clark, Vincent Edwards, Marquise Chris, and Brandon Knight. Gerald Green. I mean, the only person that I see eligible to actually play some decent defense is Gerald Green and Nene and PJ Tucker. That's just their bona fide 3-and-D player. But that's about it if it comes to those types of times when it comes to the Houston Rockets to really make the game close. But none of the games you have ever seen them actually have a close game. Seeing their Trailblazers game and going off the recent one because there's a bunch of flaws and they lost that game in a rough margin. In a rough margin. They're not even starting Melo. They started Melo on the Portland game. Poor choice. I'd rather have Aaron Gordon that they did have to start because James Harden is with groin injury. No, he's with another injury. But it's still bad. Their team is bad. Capella's doing his thing. He's obviously one of the better centers out. It's not enough, though. He's a good second chance scorer. Carmelo's only there for the open shots. Michael Carter Williams is only there to push up layups and maybe foul out in the next minute. I don't see Marquise Chris. I don't see Carmelo. I don't see Chris Paul getting his weight. He's becoming a little bitch. After that Lakers scuffle, nothing has been the same. They've been 105 off scoring. They've been rough off rebounding. They're the worst in the Western Conference. It's inconsistent. They're not even above 500. It's only 6 games they played in total right now. They're 1-5. If you are a Rockets fan, I feel bad for you. Because obviously you shouldn't be pushing these types of numbers if you're a basketball team. You shouldn't. You signed Carmelo Anthony that already got bought out by fucking Washington. No, not Washington. By Atlanta. He already got bought out by Atlanta. And all Atlanta got in return was Jeremy Lin. Freaking Jeremy Lin. But Melo hasn't been that impressive. How can you get a man that's pushing 34 and think he's going to be starting as your role team when you guys already got rid of Trevor Ariza? You have nothing going for this team. Going into Carmelo Anthony's stats, of course, when you age, your statistical margin diminishes. He has only played 6 games. He's only played 6 games, folks. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. He's only averaging 13.2 points per game this season. He's with only 5 rebounds. Last year, I heard, was his worst statistical margin ever. So, obviously, just becoming a role player and a spot-up shooter completely diminishes his shots and actually being good. Because with the injury with Harden and already Chris Paul is a bad teammate. Because we know how much he is competitive and he wants the team to actually go by his rule. It's obvious. It's freaking obvious that if it wasn't for the hype, because obviously they wouldn't get Carmelo for anything else. They could be getting fucking Paul George. They could have gotten LeBron James. They could have gotten a lot more reliable small forwards. And they don't even have to be all-stars. They don't even have to be all-stars. But they should have. They should have. But you extended Capella. You got rid of Trevor Ariza. Ryan Anderson wasn't a bad player at all. All he was pushing over 30. And he was a good outside shooter. More consistent than Carmelo Anthony. Really? We really doing this right now? We're really doing this right now with the Rockets. I don't want to see a first seed team, former first seed team, actually becoming a diminishing team. And you traded Ryan Anderson for Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris that these guys barely even shown up at. Melo already came from averaging 20 points, even in his later years when he was a Knick. He averaged at least fucking 22 points was his margin. Now he averaged 16.2 off his role being changed, and now he's averaging 13. And it looks like he's going to stay at least 13 to 14. And I'm not going to blame any of this on just one player. It's a team effort to win a basketball game. But when you see them play, you see the reasons why. They have too many old heads playing the game. You see that with the Lakers, and they nearly choked in the recent game. You have too many veterans on board. You guys don't know what you're doing, and you're issuing one player to carry the team. That's not how a basketball team should work. That's not how any team should work, or else you're playing the game wrong. You're going to get swept in the playoffs. That's why OKC, without PG, when he didn't have KD, he was already immediately swept at the playoffs in 5 games against this Rockets team without Melo. That was when Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams was on the squad. Capella was still young. They had Nene, Trevor Ariza. That was a complete team and had some good depth. The Rockets literally got this based upon hype and just desperately needing youth. because we don't know how much Nene is going to stay healthy. Ryan Anderson might be traded. That they did. The Trevor Ariza is going to sign for another team thanks they can't win and they keep choking. You attempted 27 shots. Somehow none of those, not even 10 of those, can go in against the Warriors. Just a lot of stuff, and the Rockets are just letting this go. And I know soon enough they're going to make it to the 8th seed. This is an 8th seed roster. It's 8th seed effort. If you guys lose to the fucking Trailblazers, and it is easy beating the Trailblazers. Miami Heat did it in a game before, and they lost to Charlotte recently. And they're going to face Brooklyn, and it looks like I have low expectations now for the Houston Rockets. I shouldn't be having a former first seed team having low expectations, or else there's something truly wrong with this entire team. And I shouldn't be expecting James Harden, even though I love James Harden, even though how much of a dickhead Chris Paul is. I love Chris Paul. It's still not enough. What big three are the Rockets trying to make here? They already had a good dynamic duo. You see how they were so successful, and they were a 3-point scoring team. I shouldn't be suspecting this off a team like this. I shouldn't. And you see why the Warriors are just going to beat everybody's ass, and they don't even have to try. KD be averaging, getting 30 points. Klay Thompson dropped 50. Steph Curry. You don't even need motherfucking DeMarcus Cousins. Why do you need Carmelo Anthony? What was that supposed to bring to the table? You guys already had enough veteran talent as it is. I thought all you're going to do is just draft a dude, get some younger guys, try to build up more of an outside shooting team like you guys did in the past if you guys lost Trevor Ariza. Well, you guys couldn't even do that right. Could have picked up Rodney Hood. You could have picked up a lot of guys for the Cavaliers. There's a lot of dudes that are with bloated contracts, but you wasted that on Capella. Even though I like Capella, except that patch on his hair. He shouldn't have done that to himself. It's just bad. It's really rough. And now they're going to have Brooklyn the next night, and it looks like they're going to get shut out. Or at least in a close overtime game. After, if you've seen what Spencer Dinwiddie did to Detroit, it's going to be rough to see if, the Rockets can actually win a few games. The season started October 2nd. The Rockets already lost against the Pelicans. Now I expect their only wins are going to be against the Cavs if they have them, maybe the Timberwolves, the Knicks, the Nets, and the Suns a few times. And maybe lucky performances against the Spurs. But that's all I suspect from the Rockets. And I don't like doubting the Rockets. I don't want to doubt a good team. They went to conference finals twice in under a decade. And this time they even had a more competitive team. I mean, man, come on, bro. How do you guys only beat the Lakers and you lose 3 straight afterwards? 4 straight. This comes with Chris Paul nearly doing anything to help the team out. Anything. Harden's last game was against fucking Utah until he got injured. You guys embarrassingly lost to the Clippers twice. Melo had to drop 24. That's about it. The rest of you guys have Chicago and Brooklyn. How I think you guys can lose to Brooklyn and not Chicago will hurt me. It will hurt me. Thank you for watching this video, because obviously nobody else will be.